Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Kimutai Kennedy and standing in for Marshall Mutha today on Public Opinion. And today we are here at the Jivanji Gardens to get the public opinion of the common Mwananchi, and let's see what they have to say today. By the ruling yesterday, do you think Kenyans have benefited from the BBI ruling?
Yes, a lot. And I'm one of the Kenyans, and I want to believe we have benefited from it. Because you realize that apart from the content of the BBI, there are some interpretations of the law, or rather of the Constitution, that through this ruling, now Kenyans know it very well. For instance, when we talk of who can initiate the change of the Constitution, before yesterday, a majority of Kenyans would have not known that the president cannot initiate it. But today, almost all Kenyans will tell you that the president cannot be part of it. And apart from that, you realize that there are things that even senior citizens never knew. And I'll be a bit categorical. When we talk of the president, you realize that the president is immune to some things. The moment you talk of the president, to an extent, you're talking about the state. And this is something that I want to believe even the deputy president never knew before yesterday. And that is why he has been talking ill of the president, forgetting that the moment you talk of the president, to an extent, you're talking of the state. So generally, it helped a lot from my view.
I can say much. Kenyans have benefited. Everyone, irrespective of class, you have benefited because number one, expansion of the executive, as it was purported by the amendment bill. When you expand the executive, what do we need prime minister for? What do we need expansion of more constituencies? Which wisdom give Kiambu 13 more constituencies and the whole of Nyanza addition of only 2 constituencies? Expansion of the, why do we need prime minister for? Why do we have a vice president who can be removed from office by the president anytime he wants? What is wrong with the deputy president that can only be impeached through the constitution? So this is how not to amend the constitution, and the Kenyans are comfortable with the 2010 constitution. Kenyans are comfortable with our. So the work of the president is to protect the constitution and not to amend. We are okay with our constitution. What we need as Kenyan is economy that is upraised. We need freedom from brutality, freedom from defiance of court order, content of court order. So the president actually did wrong to amend the constitution.
Well, Kenyans have benefited and Kenyans will benefit, because when you look at the BBI, when you interrogate the document, the way it was stipulated, you'll find that Kenyans were to pay heavily, the taxpayers were to pay heavily. So now we have been exempted from that. So it means we have benefited from it. Even though when you look at the document, there are some areas which were actually quite good. But when you look at it wholesomely, we have already benefited.
The only benefit we really got is the interpretations and determination of maybe laws, because right now we are legally informed. We are enlightened on issues of the Constitution and the laws, because initially we had a very kind of big confusion brought about by the High Court and the Court of Appeal. So the ruling, or rather the verdict from the Supreme Court, has really set everything clear, and we can now have a clear understanding of our laws, how to change the Constitution, things regarding whether the president can initiate this process, whether we can really go ahead with the process, and every aspect of the law. We are now more informed and we are enlightened on issues of law from this verdict from the Supreme Court. That's the main benefit that we've really derived from this kind of process.
Who do you think was the most beneficiary from the ruling yesterday by the Supreme Court? Do you think was it Raila or Ruto?
I can say Raila is the biggest winner, and I have my reasons. Number one, look at the content of the BBI. It is political. It's a Trojan horse. It was supposed to serve the purpose other than the declared purpose. Raila Amolo Odinga is the biggest beneficiary of this BBI. Number one, look at the president. The president, they describe it as ceremonial, but I'll use the word puppet. The BBI was to make president puppet and ultimate prime minister. The prime minister was to have power, the head of governance, to have say in parliament. The president has no immune. Number two, Raila Amolo Odinga comes from Nyanza. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is in Western Central Kingpin, Central, Kiambu alone was to be added 13 constituencies, and the whole of Nyanza only 2, just like I've said earlier. These 13 MPs, presumably by some political analysts, were meant to increase the number of MPs from Central in a bid to frustrate Raila Amolo Odinga in the event he betrays or tries to act not in accordance to President Uhuru Kenyatta's will in the next.
I don't want to say it's either Ruto or Raila, but the common Mwananchi. Because as much as we may talk of the BBI document having some good content, but you realize that from where I stand, there also that bit that was not good for Kenyans. For instance, when we talk of the additional constituencies, you realize that a total of 70 was to be added by the BBI. And a whole half of that, 35%, was going to central, the former central province, which I tend to believe it was not right. So by the failure of BBI, you realize that these constituencies will not be taken to the central part of Kenya. And again, when you talk of the BBI document as a whole, when you talk of the BBI document as a whole, apart from apart from the constituencies, you realize that 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, to an extent was being biased, because I personally, I don't even trust the statistics of this nation. So when you tell me that BBI was taking over 60 billion to the central part of Kenya, I had a lot of question marks there. So to answer your question, it is the Kenyans, or rather the common Mwananchi, that benefited a lot from this, not Raila, not Ruto.
Okay, if I go the political maybe way, it's a plus for everyone. It's a plus for Baba, that's Raila, and it's also a plus for DP Ruto. The idea is, we first start with the side of DP Ruto. DP was saying that, is it a constitutional moment or an economic moment? So when he was going around campaigning, he wanted to stress that it is time to really improve the economy, but not to change the constitution. So it's a plus for him, because right now the verdict says we are not going to go ahead with the referendum or the BBI or the change of constitution. Now he can sell his agenda and convince the people that it is ideally the time to improve the economy, but not to change the constitution. On Baba's side, we can say that they were saying that we are really creating very many positions. The DP, we are saying of PM position and the 2 deputies, which was a burden to the taxpayers. So we can say we are not really going to burden the taxpayers and also this country, because the wage bill is very high. Now we can embark on using a lean government to achieve whatever priorities the government has.
We cannot say that it was Ruto versus Raila, but it was for Kenyans. So actually you can say Kenyans have benefited from this ruling.
What are your expectations as Mwananchi after the ruling on Thursday by the Supreme Court about the BBI?
Expectations zangu, according to my expectation now, I came to realize and I believe now, no one is above the law. In Kenya now, rule of law will be all guide us, and no one will be chest dumping. So if you want to change the constitution, you will follow the protocol, because the Katiba has shown us, and the judiciary, the judge, has tell us there is a protocol which we can follow and change the Katiba without chest dumping. So it's now humbly for everyone to, if you want to, everyone is proud to be a Kenyan, that he has been guided, he has been protected by that Katiba, and that constitution now, it's stuck. It's now it's alive, as according to me now. No one will joke, no one will come to play with our constitution now. Be it you are president, you are excellence, you are commander in chief, be it you are party leaders, be it you have been shown on. Now, rule of law will be respected, and Mwananchi, he will be proud of wherever he will be proud of to be a Kenyan.
I think we are gearing up for the general election, which is just in 4 months' time. So the idea is we shall really concentrate on the general election, because bringing BBI right now could bring a lot of confusion. We could have wasted a lot of time really going through this process, because we cannot change the constitution less than 6 months to a general election. So we are going to really focus on this general election and really give this BBI maybe to shove it aside. We can only resume after the general election. So it's a good idea, and it's a good maybe kind of position by the courts to enable us really pursue one thing, that's the general election, and concentrate on that, and still maybe revisit or maybe start the process of change of constitution later after the general election.
So my expectation as Kenyans is that let each and everyone uphold the rule of law, including the president. Now, we've learned from the ruling from the Supreme Court that, number one, even in the near future, no president will initiate a process to change the constitutions. Now, we've also learned that, two, it is only the IBC mandated by the Constitution to participate in the delimitation of the boundaries of the Constitution. And number three, we've also learned that when the political class have failed, it is the judiciary that can come to the rescue of Kenyans, and more so the voiceless majority.
On BBI is, as far as I'm concerned, it is dead. So we should not be talking about BBI anymore. Unless we have a different initiator of the BBI or another document that is trying to change the document, we can talk about that, but not the BBI that got the ruling yesterday.